Welcome to CATtheMinion Energy Work. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. We'll have to excuse the little sun reflection here. I'm working with natural light. It is the winter solstice, as I'm recording this, or the summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere, but solstice nonetheless. I've been wanting to do this reading for at least 6 weeks, and I finally have 2 seconds of time to myself where I can actually do it. So, this is my clock calendar reading, and you can get a personal one for $81. I have other personal readings as well. There's a sample reading, $9. A more basic overview type of reading is $45, and then more involved readings like a twin flame situation or ancestral or past life is $99. And there's a little more details on my little purple advertisement and also on my webpage, or if you're looking for whatever kind of reading, you can email me and I'll give you some suggestions. So the whole point of all that is just to say that this is a reading, a specific reading and spread that I offer. And it's more useful at the beginning of the year. But you can have an overview of the next year from any point in time. You could start at your birthday or whenever. So I know it's not listed on my regular advertisements, but it is available. I've decided to do each pile as a triptych door, which is another spread that I use for smaller readings. And the basic idea of the triptych door is that you have two fake doors next to a door that purportedly would actually open. Sometimes in rock ones you see that the big one doesn't look like it opens either. It would sort of be a portal into another dimension and would only open at certain times, or you would only take your astral body through it. But the basic idea of the triptych door reading is to unify two opposites. So we have, on this hand and on the other hand, but what's the meeting point of those things that may or may not be in conflict? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this pile in the middle, and we'll have sort of an overview of the themes of 2024, and then we'll be looking at each pile. So each pile is for a month, and you can see that they're different color schemes. These bright blue ones are going to be watery, and we see that we have Cancer starts in June, which is water. So if you're Cancer, you may want to focus on what's happening in the June pile, even though Cancer continues into July. When Leo starts, you might be more interested in how that begins too. So you can sort of choose a pile based on what your sign is, or you can choose a month. So whether you're on a cusp or whatever sign you might be, if you're born in November, you might be more interested in November's pile, whether you're Scorpio or Sagittarius. So that's sort of a free thing. So we have water, 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 fire, 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 air, 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 and then earth, earth, earth. Okay. So I've got 4 decks. So it's sort of I've got a Punnett square situation going on here. So I've got some of the Aquarian tarot blended with the Thoth deck, and some of the Aquarian tarot blended with the Dreams of Gaia tarot, and either of the big decks combined with the brand new to me anyway, Labyrinth tarot. I am going to have a flip through of this up when I finish editing it, and then when I've used the deck more, I will do a review of it in my reviews playlist. I usually don't review stuff that I've just gotten because I need to learn it, I need to know it, before I can go telling people what I think about it. All right, so I've decided I'm going to do shorts where I just flip through when I get them, and then moving forward. So, because my older reviews are longer and have flip throughs as well. So I think it'll be more interesting that way. Squirrel brain. Okay. So for the center, I've got one of each of those cards, and then I've got some of my charms. You can get these charms as a download, or I've got 2 printed sets that are available. Paper charm kit. Customizable. So when I shook the charms out of the box, I wanted them for the middle, and I had a whole heap of them. I wanted like 1 or 2 more, and a whole heap of them fell sort of in between April and May. I've got one over here that landed on June, and the beaker landed upside down over here in the spring. So I think I'm going to still read it as part of the year, but we're sort of noticing that there's something happening in this part of the year. Okay, so I think I've got it focused around here, so I'll probably be holding the cards up because my camera won't focus on the whole spread. It's pretty big. Alright, what have we got? The Counselor. Vocational Guidance Counselor. Vocational Guidance Counselor. It's from Monty Python. That looks like it's pretty well in focus. So this is... The Counselor is in place of where you would normally find the Knight of Water, the Knight of Cups. So we'll put him there for a second. We have the Seven of Swords, Futility inverted. I have some extra thoughts about that, but we'll leave that for a second. I'm so used to doing the card of the day now that it feels weird to take time to explain the cards more, because I really haven't had time to do longer readings in a while. Okay, so we have another sword inverted, 3 of Swords. This is like waking up from a daymare. This is giving me Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And then we have the Emperor inverted. What I like about this, I read the guidebook, and even though I know enough about the tarot that I wouldn't need the guidebook, a sort of an ego trip here, I like the way they've written the descriptions of the cards in the book, and they're specific to the movie. Now, the last time I saw Labyrinth was in like 2004 when I was in college, and I didn't like it. But I remembered it from seeing it when I was little, when the movie came out, because I used to get the baby in the labyrinth confused with the baby in a weird temple thing in Ghostbusters 2. So I know that I've seen both of those movies. Obviously, I've seen Ghostbusters 2 like at least a dozen times, but the labyrinth thing was still in there. So if the lighting is weird and it's hard to see, we'll just have to deal with it because I'm using the sunlight right now. You could like adjust the gain on your screen, I guess, or whatever, the white point. All right. So the Counselor is sort of bridging up into emotional work. This is, I gave up on some whack bullshit because continuing on with it was futile. And it's helping me get out of this emotional pain to the point where it's sort of, it's not cutting me open, it's just kind of a little bit of a sore spot. And it's sort of like my power was taken away from me. So let's just read the Emperor quickly. And I keep forgetting something that I wanted to say about, it's got this cute little guidebook. I keep forgetting something that I wanted to say about the year overall, so I'll have to go back to that unless I forget again. So one of the joys of being autistic and probably also having ADHD, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, except that I do. The Emperor. who does show, the Emperor does show up in 2024 because of the 4. Okay, so here he is in the book. Full color photo reproductions in the book, which is unique because most guidebooks are just black and white. I like this. This is Insight Editions. You know, but you can't query them directly. You have to find some agent who's willing to do it. Okay. So here's what it says. In traditional tarot, the Empress, the deck's maternal figure, is the counterpart to the Emperor, the paternal figure of the deck. As such, Sarah's father is the natural fit to represent this authoritative tarot card. Right? So the main character in Labyrinth is Sarah, and she's sort of the... She is the Fool card in this deck. She's the character who's going through the hero's journey. And her dad is the Emperor. Okay. So it's reversed. So we say, when the Emperor is reversed, it suggests you may be avoiding responsibilities. Are there any obligations or duties in your life that you've been ignoring? When Sarah's upset about having to babysit her little brother yet again, her father makes only a feeble attempt to comfort her instead of offering genuine guidance and reassurance. If you're in a position of leadership or authority, the Emperor reversed reminds you to take your role seriously. Okay. This scenario is a little bit, with that description, is sort of like you weren't responsible, you didn't take responsibility for something that created some kind of emotional scar. It's sort of like a dark secret, like, this is embarrassing, nobody should find out about it, but there's no resolution. But here the counselor is sort of like, it's kind of like an outside force. It's like, I've got this avoidant energy and I'm going to therapy. And again, this counselor could be external or it could be something that you're going through. It's like, I'm finally at the right energy to start dealing with problems. At this night energy, I'm ready to take action over something that's sort of stale and sorrowful. Or sort of like I gave up on myself. Now, before I forget again, we have 2024. So we have 2, the High Priestess, 0, the Fool, 2, the High Priestess again, and then 4, the Emperor. But if I combine those, 2 and 4, that's 6, that's the Lovers. But it's also healing and relationships. And we see, we have some, I'm trying to heal some sort of relationship that I have. Now it could be with another person, or it could be like my duty to myself, or how I perceive that I should be to my family or to somebody else. So we have this sort of healing aspect come out before we even analyze that. So we have the Lovers. Because there is no 24 in the deck. But if I look at the 20, the beginning, the 20 of the 2024, that tells me judgment. So I'm dealing with this aspect of judgment and the Lovers. I'm graduating, right? I'm leveling up to the counselor. I'm graduating. I'm reading the last chapter of the book. I'm closing something out. You know, I'm not going to have to repeat this lesson in my next lifetime. And if I add them back together, it reduces from 20 to 2, which is the High Priestess again, which is sort of this like, you know, I didn't listen to my intuition in the first place, because it's, you know, really slamming down this High Priestess energy. And then I could recombine it again. 2 + 2 + 4 is 8. Now in some decks 8 is justice. In some decks, 8 is strength. And always notice that the difference between the strength and justice is either 8 or 11. So to me, there's always this hidden Empress energy. And it sort of oscillates between this strength and abundance and what's fair and what's balanced and what is my karma that's due this week, right? It's like my overall karma is where judgment comes in. But when I'm, you know, it's like a student loan payment. It's like you're going to be paying it off the rest of your life, but right now you have to pay $20, and $20 is my karma that's due when I hit justice. But the $4,000 or the 800 grand is what's due when I hit judgment. And this is in terms of like energy, entanglements, relationships, like the knowledge of good and evil, let's say. We have the cow, which could represent the Empress. We have the fox, sleepy fox. And the como se llama, the llama. I think I want it focused to about there. The llama. Okay. And we have the Venus/Capricorn disc. So when it's got the point down, that's Capricorn, and when it's got the point up, that's Venus. That's also the Empress. And I posted on my social media as the day that I'm recording this, which is on the 21st, the solstice. I posted Happy Solstice, and I put a picture of my Capricorn crescent, which has this same Venus Capricorn device on it. Okay, so inverted we have the Fae person, which I forgot to put in the charm bucket kit, which I went to fix it one day and I got stressed out and I couldn't deal with it. I can't see if that's in focus or not. Okay, the Fae person. And I don't think I had the fox in focus. Sleepy fox. I don't got that. Okay, so Capricorn and then Venus. So we have to figure out what these also mean. I feel like the fox goes with the 7 of Swords because in the Wild Unknown Tarot, there's kind of a fox sleeping on the 7th sword. With the llama, it has to deal with heights and also with wool. Like, what happens when I open up this pelt? Like, when I haven't been sheared in 2 years, I'm heavy, I'm overheated, I can't breathe, I need to let off all this weight. Like, what's underneath? And this is... It's sort of a reference point. It's like, okay, from the darkest day of the year in the northern hemisphere to the darkest day of the next year, what is being brought to light? And this Fae person is giving me like, hey, listen. You know, or it's like, hey, I'm not just imagining it. You know, like I need a little bit of fairy dust. I need a little bit of hope and inspiration and imagination. Imagination. Alright, so now in January, we have the tetrahedron. Right, the building blocks. The base of the year, what the structural support. In the spring, it's like I don't want to experiment anymore. I don't want to have to keep recombining my energies. Oh, and this was inverted too. There's an instability, right? My foundation is unstable, and I'm tired of trying to recombine my crap energy with something else. It's like it's got toothpicks and hot glue and cement all over it. It's like if I add some flying buttresses, it's not gonna make it any more stable. So as we get like further into the year, spring for the northern hemisphere, which is this sort of growth period. But if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going to see things sort of contracting. And in that point, we have the shoe, the high-heeled shoe. I'm getting a little bit of these boots are made for walking. So we have the maple syrup. We have, come on, the drum kit. The tragedy mask. It's almost giving me like something bad happened, but somebody did a rim shot like it was funny. So we have the electric guitar. So we're getting a little bit of a rock ballad situation here. We have the ant. Now I have the ant and the maple syrup, but it's giving me a little bit like you'll catch more flies with honey. And we have the rainbow. Don your gay apparel. And then inverted, we have the back of the credit card, which gives me a little bit like someone's trying to steal my identity to buy some fancy shoes, and like woe is me, and like I know who did it, and I'm going to take them to court, but maybe they would have given me the money back if I was nice to them, which seems a little bit like gaslighting. Well, oh, you should have been nicer to them, maybe they wouldn't have stolen your shit, you know. And it's sort of, it's kind of like giving me the only way that you have to express a distrust at someone. Kind of, it's kind of like someone took part of your identity and spent it, you know, like somebody gambled with your feelings in a way that stripped you of who you thought you were. Like if you're in a bad relationship and you're sort of taken advantage of in some way or belittled in some way, and you just sort of collapse into yourself, and you're depressed, and you feel like, you know, everything that was good about you has been stripped away. You know, like now I'm jaded, I'm sad, I feel tricked or weak or stupid. You know, how could I fall for that? Where's my self-defense mechanism? I had no boundaries. You know, I'm a shadow of my former self because of this relationship. And again, the relationship could be between, you know, victim and thief, but it could be a romantic relationship. It could be my family. You know, I had my identity taken from me because my brain wasn't fully developed, and my parents got mad at me because I didn't behave how they wanted me to, and they cut my hair as punishment. That's the kind of trauma that we're dealing with here. And it's not to say, oh, it could be this or this or this or this. We're dealing with a pattern. What I'm talking about is when I read, I tend to read an energy template so we can put like little pieces in. You know, everybody gets a paint by number, and somebody's just going to scribble black lines across it, and somebody's going to, you know, color it in exactly per the instructions. Someone else is going to say, screw the crayons, I'm painting it. You know, and I'm going to make it realistic instead of blotches. You know, there's different ways that energies can fit into the same template, right? Again, so for someone, it's a relationship where I wasn't appreciated until I felt less and less of myself. And another thing, it's somebody either I knew or didn't knew, took my stuff, and now I feel like I'm empty. And this is another way that we can go into this emotional healing where I've been upended from my throne. And I've been like avoiding the healing because of some kind of shame or trying to forget about it. And we see that there's all these swords, 10 swords total, that I'm trying to overcome coming into 2024 with this sort of like, I need to pull myself back online so that I can learn to trust my intuition. Right? I don't need to pull the wool over, I don't need to have my tail over my eyes and pretend that I'm not here. I need to embrace myself and what it is that makes me abundant as a soul, or sort of embrace the identity of yourself as a meat avatar for your soul in this incarnation. And this is kind of what's on the table, puns aside, for 2024. And then also in June we had the little froggy. And I think I drew this intentionally to look like the frog in this Ladybird Easy Reader Frog Prince storybook that I've had since I was little. But the frog in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck has to do with recharging. If you're depleted and you're a froggy, you need to go back in the water to get turned. You need to, you know, as an amphibious being where you're existing in a thought space and in an emotional space, you need to have an emotional cleansing, an emotional bath. You need to absorb it back into yourself in order to restore your energy. And we see that over here in June when we hit Cancer season. Come on, frog. Okay. So now that we've got this overview of what's happening, it's sort of ironic because at least where I live in New England, it has been raining a lot in 2023. Like, it rained a lot at the end of last winter, it rained a lot in the spring, it rained a lot in the summer, and it rained a lot this last week. And it's amazing we haven't had huge destruction and flooding and everything. They had some really bad flooding in Vermont that we didn't get down here in my part of New Hampshire. But every time I drive by a lake or the like land divot thing down the street, I'm like, holy crap, the water is so high. And I don't remember any year where it was that wet all year. And it's sort of like the sobbing before the breakthrough here in terms of like, what does the year mean? Right? So you can start your year at the winter solstice at January, when the Gregorian calendar tells us. You could start it at the end of January or beginning of February, where the Lunar New Year starts, if you fancy that. Or if your birthday is not New Year's Eve, like mine is, where you'd start in between December and January anyway. Like if your birthday is in September or May or August or March, you can start your year then. And you'll see what themes you're sort of picking up on at that point. And it could just be that your timelines are completely different and you'll hit these energies when you hit them, right? Because time is, what is it? Wibbly wobbly something something. I can't remember how it's supposed to be. because I had this meme that has like a little button and it says like straight, gay, bisexual, and the bisexual is checked off and it says wibbly wobbly sexy waxy on it. So now I don't remember what the real thing is. But anyway, time is all wibbly wobbly. Let's put it that way. I should point out that this reading, you didn't see me shuffle it out on camera, and that's because it's a free reading. And if you purchase a reading, I will be shuffling and chucking out the cards on camera. It has to do with, it takes longer for the video to combine the longer the thing is. And you'll also see a few cuts here and there. So you don't have to hear me saying like as many times, and you don't have to hear all the vehicles going by as many times, or like me blowing my nose. So that's why you'll see that. You know, some people get really hung up on like, you're faking it, bladder. Apparently. I've never seen anybody in comments doing that, but I've heard other readers being like, I did it for real. I think it would take way too much effort to fake it. In my opinion, the fake stuff is, well, I don't want to bash other people, but goddamn. You can tell when people are fake and full of shit, so I don't need to tell you. Alright. So I've moved the camera. My tripod is ailing at this point. So I'm starting on January. Do I start in December? I'll start on January, because this is for 2024, so I want to start at the calendar year. So we're doing a triptych door. Alright. I just want to flip this around. I don't remember what that's supposed to be. Queen of Air energy, Capricorn and Aquarius. I don't know what those clouds are supposed to be anymore. Okay. Okay. Alright. So let me lay out my triptych door here. This one on this side. Doesn't necessarily matter, but sometimes it does. So what we're trying to reconcile in January, we have this with the Aquarian tarot here. The King of Cups inverted. Not surprised to see that, since we had the Emperor combined with emotional energy. King of Cups inverted, looking away from the rest of the reading. With the Knight of Pentacles inverted, trying to chase after him. Knight of Pentacles inverted indicates fast to me. King of Cups is sort of my I can see clearly now card in my music deck that I made-ish in my draft version. And it's like I'm the clouded mind sees nothing, and yet I'm chasing after it as fast as I can. I'm looking for some kind of something to soothe me in the material world, right? I might be packing on the pounds because of cortisol or the Ben & Jerry's. And if you're packing on both, like I do, it can suck a lot. So, we're dealing with, like, I'm trying to manifest something, but I can't see what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I'm emotionally closed off from my cosmic downloads. Right? There's a disturbance in the force. My radar is jammed with the raspberry. So let's see what the reconciliation might be. Is the Three of Swords inverted again? So here it's sorrow. I don't know why I said that weird. Sorrow inverted. Right? It's like I'm trying to give up this pain. But even this looks cloudy. Right? I don't want to be in pain anymore. I'm trying to run away from it, but it's creating a problem with my manifestation. But since this is the resolution, the only way to catch up with myself is to open up the sorrow, right? I can't pull out the splinter if I don't open up the skin deep enough to where it is so I can yank it out with the tweezers. Right? I got to get the needle in there and pull some of the skin open, and then I can pull out this splinter that is causing me pain. And that's kind of what you see in most of the strength cards. You see the maiden pulling the thorn out of the lion's paw. So right away in January, we're addressing the Three of Swords here by coming in with another Three of Swords saying, you must address this sorrow that you want, that you need to release. Fucking tripod, all right. I don't know if I held those up at all. Probably. All right. So getting into February. Shimon. Getting into February, we're dealing with the Knight of Cups, which is this guy, the counselor. Vocational guidance counselor. Who has Aquarius and Piscean energy. Oh, I guess that's supposed to be like fire and water, and this one was supposed to be air and air. I don't know, whatever. Okay, the fire element of water. The fire character in water, and this is the air character in air. If I can remember how to do stuff. Okay. So, we still have Aquarian Tarot for this. And our sides of the issue, we have the Nine of Swords inverted. Now, I had said with those others, the Three of Swords in the main part of the year, that it was like a daymare. Waking up from a daymare. And this is waking up from the entire nightmare. It's like in triplicate, right? I had 3 swords, I had 3 swords multiplied. Now I have 9 swords, right? I got 9 problems and a bittering one. And it's also fear. Like, once I was afraid, I was petrified, but now I'm not, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And more swords. So we have the Two of Swords. A low vibration of the High Priestess. And what did I say? I said what I said. In January, with the King of Cups, we had inverted. We had I can't see a damn thing. And we still having trouble seeing anything except for this banana here in the middle, which is actually 2 sword hilts, but it still looks like a banana. It's like, I need some more beta carotene. I need some potassium, because I am not okay. 11 swords. It's giving me 9/11, and not like specifically 9/11 the incident, but I looked at the clock and it said 9/11. 911, it's an emergency. And also this change from 9 to an 11, from I'm trying to complete something to I'm overcoming it. Overall, it's like it's been an emergency that I can't get out of my nightmares because I haven't been able to change my perspective of them. Right? I can't God damn it, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like antithesis, antidote. I can't depoison the problem. Oh, I can't pacify the problem because I haven't looked at it from another angle. right? It's like, I didn't look behind the curtain, so it's still scary. What it really is just pulleys and strings. It's not really some demon that's trying to eat me, right? It's just a movie. But I haven't been able to figure that out yet. And we're coming in with the Five of Cups as the resolution. This is the, like, oh my god, I'm so sad. I am not looking on the bright side. And we see this because this emotional downswing is, I've only been able to see the same perspective where it's a horrible, horrible thing. Like, I'm trying to forgive myself in some way for not being able to see what happened the whole time. Like, oh my god, I was so gullible. How could I ever have been such a dumbass? You know, or I spent years hating myself for this. Now I have to mourn the piece of me that was lost, or this shadow element that I don't like because, like, I couldn't have been that naive, surely. Therefore, me bad, and that's a shadow part and I'm ignoring it. This is sort of opening up to the mourning of what you couldn't see to release that pain. I think this reading is coming for me a little bit. Hide your kids, hide your wives. They coming for all of us. March. March, March, March. Alright. So we have the King. No. That was the... No. This is the King of... God damn it. This was the King, not the Queen of Air. This is the Queen of Fire, who has Pisces and Aries energy. That's gotta be right. Get my chart here. It's like, I don't even know who I am. I can't figure out what the fuck's going on. The King of Air. Yeah, this was the King of Air. I read that one wrong. This was definitely the Knight of Cups, and this is the Queen of Fire. She is gagging me. Pisces and Aries energy, the water element in fire. There, now I got it right. Okay. So we are looking at what is going on here. It even looks a little bit burnt because it's all sort of red-brown colors with some green. The tragedy, the tragedy mask wants to come along for this section. I guess we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay. I should also point out that receiving the Labyrinth deck for Cridmouth, and sort of reading the allegory of what the labyrinth is in terms of the hero's journey. It's like, I'm trying to find my way out of some bullshit. So it's very appropriate to this 2024 year of trying to untangle from this shadow element of self, where it's sort of like blaming yourself for being in a situation, entanglement, soul contract, energy bond with someone where you felt like you were betrayed in some way. Alright. So let's look at the sides. So we have the Seven of Pots, which is the Seven of Cups. It's sort of a code switch from this Seven of Swords inverted. It's sort of pairing too, because if I want to say that the Nine of Swords inverted is roughly equivalent to the Nine of Cups, where I'm sort of chilled out and happy, because I've overcome the nightmares. Then I'm saying that my Seven of Swords, where I'm having sort of a deception moment, my Seven of Cups is kind of, I'm trying to figure out what the real thing is. You know, which pot of porridge tastes the best? Not like, oh my god, I'm overwhelmed by all the fucking porridge. Like, I didn't even know they had it in grape flavor. What the hell? And then we have the Knight of Pots. So we have the Knight of Cups inverted here, who is just totally overwhelmed. And he's like, why is this pot smoking? Is that supposed to do that? Like, I don't think this is actual porridge. I think this is a bomb or something. So let me just go back to the book, because I like these descriptions. So let's just skim the Seven of Pots, just for funsies. Dreaming can be a powerful act of manifestation. Seven of Pots invites you to let your mind wander. Where do you want the future to take you? What adventures may await you there? Letting your imagination roam free will help you figure out where you want to go from here. Okay. This is kind of where we're at. It's like I let go of, like, from February, I'm opening up to this shadow sorrow, but it's like, if I'm processing that, well, then what? Like, what would I do in my wildest dreams if I didn't have all this, like, these cement shoes weighing me down in the pool? So the Knight of Pots inverted. I like this deck. I like the artwork. I was like, I don't even care about the movie. The card deck is pretty sweet. When reversed, the Knight of Pots becomes resentful and jealous. He didn't get what he wanted, and now he's sulking and gloomy. Don't brood over a disappointment for too long, or bitterness will sour your otherwise charming disposition. And this is the crossroads. It's like, I'm still kind of butthurt. Like, what am I going to do? But, you know, if I can dream, I can walk. If I can stand, then I can talk, or however those lyrics are. Something there in my dreams come true right now. What is that even called? I know it's Elvis. I'm kind of jamming out in my head. Let it come true right now. I think it's If I Can Dream. I think that's what the song is called. It's on that Elvis Gold Records Volume 5. Okay. So we have, I don't know why I wanted to say The Shining. Shining? The Eight of Wands inverted. This is the first time I'm seeing, like, actual fire coming through. Eight of Wands inverted. So we have Mercury in Sagittarius. So swiftness inverted, and the rainbow's inverted here. It's taking a long time. Again, I said my radar is jammed, and that's exactly what we've got. We got that, like, RKO sound, like... It's like the slow-ass modem with that... That's what it sounds like. What the hell am I even looking at? If I was the Eight of Wands, and I was going to be inverted... I should come out as the Eight of Earth. But not necessarily. It's like... Oh, it's like Mercury and Gemini. Right? Yeah, it would end up being more like Mercury and Gemini. should be sort of like adjacent to the Ten of Swords, but not quite. It'd be like the 9.5 of Swords. So we have this sort of static where it's like I'm having trouble communicating the butthurt part of myself to the hopeful outlook part, and I'm feeling separated out, and it's causing me pain. And there isn't necessarily a resolution on these cards. It's saying that after, what do they do in January? In January, I accepting that I need to open up to sorrow. In February, I'm sort of accepting that there's a shadow element. In March, I'm trying to bridge the gap between wanting to be expanding as a person, but I'm noticing that I'm still butthurt. So that's what's going on with March. Or the Aries energy in general. Okay, so with April, we have our cards for the side doors in the challenge position. So we have the Three of Rods. I get some chimney smoke coming in through my slightly open window and it's gagging me. The 3 chimneys here. There's billowing black smoke. So we have, I'm not quite seeing what's on the horizon, right? It's again, it's sort of like I can't see where I'm going, or I'm not sure what's gonna, like, I don't know what's in the world for me. Like, you know, like, what's in it for me? What belongs to me? What is my place in the world? Oh, it just said 11 minutes on there. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. It's giving I'm having trouble manifesting. I'm having trouble bringing into like some kind of reality that I can see what my life purpose is. And it's coming in at a low vibration. Like I'm struggling, but I'm not focused on being butthurt. I'm trying to figure out what to do with myself. Like, what do I do? Who am I? Where am I? And what am I doing? Where am I going? What do? Help. This is an 11. And this is a 3. And we had 8 here. So we have healing, but it's inverted. This magician-y guy. So 11 in a major arcana. This goes back to that strength and justice energy, but because this deck is a little unusual, we come in with healing, which is sort of the MO for the whole year, the modus operandi. And we got the little froggy. Where the hell is my little froggy? There he is. Okay, so the little froggy right there on the chair. Little froggy. Okay. And there's one there too. Frog and toad. So we're trying to get... Oh, and I said 11 minutes too, right before I did this. So we have the 11, and we have this 3. So it's sort of like reiterating this, like, I want to manifest something. But it's sort of like I need internal healing to be able to open up my vision. Like my my crown chakra is blocked. But here we're talking about the third eye. If we're talking about inner vision. Like, I'm so... God damn, that smoke is nasty. I'm so... discombobulated from all this emotional turmoil that I'm not in tune with my intuition, which would help me see what's coming and not be confused about what I'm manifesting. So the healing is not coming here. It's saying I need to do inner healing. In this case, this card would take on kind of a hermit energy, which would be actually Piscean, but it might have to deal with some inner child work because of the Virgo energy. Now, April, we had the King of Earth, which is Aries and Taurus energy, and we have the Heir of Earth character. Okay. It's gonna be May. It's gonna be May. So our side doors, we have the Four of Poles in upright and Justice inverted, which is 11 in this deck. Little hands. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. I think that's Dusty Springfield. All right, so let's look at... This looks like a sun that's turned the wrong way, which would give an eclipse or moon energy. But if you think about where we're starting, at least spiritually, we're starting with the solstice. We're saying that it's giving this sort of sun and moon energy. 35. I keep forgetting I wrote the numbers on the cards. 35. All right. So inverted says, okay. Justice represents fairness, rewards, and consequences, just as the helping hands give Sarah the choice to go up or down and then take her into the oubliette when she decides to go down. Right? And oubliette just is like a big dark hole that they would throw people in that they didn't like. This is where the shadow self lives, and this is what we're trying to open up to. Reversed. Justice represents a guilty conscience. If you've behaved regrettably or made a mistake that's had negative consequences, this card comes as a sign that you need to make amends. Apologizing and making things right will clear your conscience and allow you to continue on your journey unimpeded by the weight of remorse. Okay? So, this could be like, I need to apologize to myself for telling myself I was a dumbass and that I'm a bad person for making a mistake. Now, if you did something to someone else where you regret your actions because you think you hurt them also, it could be to give yourself slack as someone who is like a learning robot, a learning meat robot. And, you know, if you're able to iterate some kind of apology to them, then you can do that. Or you may have to do it energetically, because they don't owe you, nobody owes us closure. And that can be one of the most difficult things to deal with, as I well know from experience. So we've got this Four of Poles, which is the Four of Wands. Now, typically this is like the building up a home, family, twin flamey kind of card. But I again, I'm really enjoying this deck. So let's read this. Just for funsies. 65. Right, so the Four of Poles. It's time for a celebration. Four of Poles represents an exciting life event such as a birth, marriage, joyful reunion, or creating a happy new home. Get together with loved ones and enjoy the moment. All right, so it's like I want to be able to celebrate, but I've been telling myself I'm a bad person, so I'm not allowed to. And it's like I can either apologize to whoever I want my quote-unquote family to be, and then we can all be happy, or I forgive myself and then allow myself any kind of joy whatsoever as I go forward in this sort of rebirth of myself. All right, so let's see what the union of these is. The universe inverted. I'm not surprised to see the World card. Just flip this over. The universe. It's giving a little bit like my whole world has been turned upside down. But it's also this, like I'm opening up new dimensions to myself. I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm opening up my inner world so that there's more existing inside of me. You know, it's like my cosmic identity. It's kind of like my cosmic identity is going through the eye of a needle. And it's not to say like, oh, the world is shut off to me. That can be how it feels. But what we're talking about with this is saying the new world that I'm creating for myself starts within. Right? I apologize to me. I give myself slack. I create a new world where I'm allowed to be joyful. And it starts sort of building up these new dimensional spaces like within your body. It's sort of like your magnetic field becomes more complex because you're vibrating at this higher energy, right? It's not like, it's kind of like if you have like one little sound playing, you'll get like one little squiggly sound wave. But if you play like 12 instruments, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff going on. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's sort of like I'm like more of myself that is functional is coming online. And that's what we see for May. All right, June. Did I do this one? I did not do this one. All right, so we have May with the Knight of Air with fire and air energy, and we have Taurus, no, the fire element in air, the fire character in air, and we have Taurus and Gemini. God damn it, I don't know why that's so hard for me to articulate. So for June, we have the Queen of Water, who is the water personality in water, and she is Gemini and Cancer. I think I did that. All right, so my doors, my side doors for June, we have the world inverted again. I'm getting dragon on my back by Queen. I just heard like, taking no prisoners. And the Chariot, 7. So 21 breaks down to 3, and then we have 7. So Cancer energy and Earth energy with Saturn, which would rule Capricorn. This is Capricorn, that would be Cancer, and it's sort of giving me this, oh, it looks like a lingam stone. This looks like the hole, and that looks like the junk that goes in the hole. Okay. What the hell was I saying before that? Oh, it looks like those eclipses that we had in Capricorn and Cancer like a few years ago, and then like one or two more recently. So we were looking at the world inverted as a resolution to building a new happy world and letting like apology, forgiving for either being in trauma or creating trauma. But now it's like I'm still trying to figure out what my world is, and I'm chomping at the bit to go, 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 go. Like things are moving. And it also could be like things are moving fast in my internal world, but it's giving me a little bit of like putting the brakes on. Because we see that 21 is actually 3 times the chariot, but it's inverted. It's like, hit the brakes, hit the brakes, hit the brakes. Like, are the brakes even working? You know, so it's sort of like I can hear the tires squealing. Like, hold up a second. Like I don't feel ready. And we have the 9 of Cups. Now, this looks sort of like almost like a sad mermaid. But I had been saying that the 9 of Cups is kind of like this 9 of Swords from inverted from February. It's like I'm seeing the light, but I feel like I'm in slow motion. Like I feel rushed. And it's sort of like, how do I reconcile moving faster than I feel comfortable? But it's kind of like an exponential movement forward. You know, it's sort of like, it's kind of like I've done enough work that the universe is telling me to go. Like, you'll be happier if you're moving forward. And I'm a little bit shy to step out into the light in my new suit because I am still sort of skittish that it's gonna get dirty, right? Like I'm being kind to myself at home, but can I be kind to myself when I'm out in the world and I'm running around doing all my stuff? It's not really fear, it's just sort of, I mean, it's a little bit fear, but it's like, untested, kind of. Like I don't know if I'm confident enough to be challenged, even though I'm starting to pull myself together. Okay. Looking at July. July, only when I'm talking. Just kidding. Alright, so we have the Queen. No, the King of Wands. The King of Wands, who is the heir of fire. The air character in fire, and is Cancer and Leo energy, right? So, July. Right. So, our side doors for July. This feels like a long reading. I haven't talked this much at once in a long time. I feel exposed. Alright, so what are our side doors? King of Pots to go with the So this is the King of Cups upright finally, and when he started out in January, inverted. So King of Pots. And the Seven of Junk inverted. All right, so this is the Seven of Pentacles inverted. Usually when I see the Seven of Earth, Pentacles, Junk inverted, it tells me impatience. It's like, you know, and again, we almost had with this Chariot, it's like I'm almost chomping at the bit, but I'm like digging my heels in. And here it's sort of like I'm feeling like I'm getting a hold of my emotions, but I'm still impatient. Like I'm feeling better, but I want to be like 2 years ahead of where I am now, like now. You know, like I want to be better now. So let's just check out the King of Pots. Hold him up again. He represents a person as steadfast and dependable as malicious, the helpful, harmless, hollow-bodied creature who serves as the Goblin Army's post-battle trash receptacle. This card represents a benevolent figure whose greatest strength lies in his emotional stability. Okay, so this is sort of saying like you can be a benevolent person when you have your emotional stability, right? Because people who are sort of emotionally stable wouldn't have to steal their energy or their shoes from somebody else, right? It's like if they were emotionally stable, they could be like, hey, how are you? And you'd be like, hey, what's up? And then you'd sort of grok each other and it would be fine. But if there's an emotional instability, then that person is going to try to get or take or steal what they need from whoever is around them. And it might be indicating that you are impatient to be at this level. Right? It's like, I want to be emotionally stable now, and like, you know, slamming your foot down. But let's see what this inverted says. Just for extra sauce. Okay. The Seven Junk. I really like this deck. Okay, so inverted. It suggests you may be feeling frustrated. You may have expected immediate results and are discouraged that things haven't materialized. The best rewards often take hard work and long-term dedication to manifest. Keep going. Okay, so it's just reiterating what I said already. So let's see what the sort of union between wanting to be, you know, chilled out already and feeling upset that you're not, you know, that you're not there. All right. So we have the Six of Swords inverted, and here it's called Science. Science. Okay. Now, this like stupid basicest concept of science inverted is there isn't a science to it. There's no exact science to being emotionally stable. Different strokes for different folks. But we're still dealing with this sort of there's a lot of swords throughout this whole reading. It's all about, and especially since we're heading into the age of Aquarius, and I believe we have Pluto in Aquarius. So for a good chunk of time here, which is sort of driving all of these swords. But we're sort of upending your concept of what the world is, how to communicate with other people, what your world is. But there's no exact science to it. But typically when I see an inverted Six of Swords in any deck, especially with the boat, with the little guy like paddling the boat, it's when it's inverted, it's I need to go deeper. Right, it's sort of like I'm sort of trapped in this like scaffolding. But what I really need to do is go down into the basement and make sure everything's anchored. And it's going to take longer than I wanted to, and now I'm getting a little bit pissy. But if I want it to work, I really do need to take that extra time and, you know, fine tune, fine chisel the thing that I'm working on, which is myself. So, you know, it's like I thought I went all the way down to the bottom of the oubliette so that I could be stable. And the message is, no, you got to be a little bit more patient. You haven't gone all the way down to the bedrock of your emotional chasm yet. And it's interesting that the impatience is coming in with fire energy, because it's kind of like, you know, you feel that flame going and you want to go like, phew, but it's more like, tss. All right. Out. August. So we have the Knight of Earth, who is the fire character in Earth. We have Leo and Virgo energy. Leo and Virgo energy combined sort of gives me the like. It's sort of like a like tee-hee, like ooh, like sort of kawaii, but also like pay attention to me. I am important, which sort of like a. It's kind of giving me OnlyFans. That's really funny. It's sort of like Sailor Moon kind of energy. Let's put it that way. Like kick-ass, but also like sort of bashful, I guess. I don't know. I don't really watch Sailor Moon. I just think the Sailor Freddie Mercury costume is hilarious. Like the Selena Gomez costume that's like Selena the singer plus Gomez Adams mixed together. It doesn't take much to give me dopamine sometimes. Okay, so we're dealing with August. We have the Page of Poles with his little carrot. Alright, so now our Page of Earth character is upright. I think he was sideways the last time we saw him. So I'm finally starting to manifest. And the Tower inverted. Now, when I see the Tower inverted, it usually tells me internal collapse. But I also just heard, why do you build me a buttercup? Now, usually you think build me up buttercup, you're like, okay, that's a good thing. But it says, the song lyrics are actually, why do you build me a buttercup just to let me down and turn me around? And most of all, it's like when you say you will, and then you love me until I need you. Why do you build me up buttercup, don't break my heart, okay? So this is, it's like it's kind of like I'm beginning to get out there in the world, and I don't want to get involved with someone who's going to break me open again. You know, it's like I'm not very confident, but I'm finally getting out here and doing it. I'm not slamming on those brakes, but like, don't come at me. So let's just read these again real quick, because I want to. Let's do the Tower. Oh, my throat hurts. Okay. What's that? Oh, I guess that's about right there. When the Tower is reversed, it suggests you're resisting an inevitable upheaval and transformation. Something in your life must come to an end, but you're stalling. Letting go can be difficult, but denying change only delays your personal progress. Try not to focus too much on the ending. Instead, think of this as clearing the way for new and better things to come. Okay, so that's another meaning for the Tower inverted, is this sort of like resistance to change. And we've seen that like through like a little bit throughout. You know, and that's why we're only a page instead of a knight or a king. Right? It's like I'm sort of like afraid to embody a new structure. And you see this knight, this page of poles here is actually in a tower. He's like, oh, I don't want this to crumble down. Let's see what this unification is. Okay. So we have the Three of Earth here. Now, this guy in this card, he's planting acorns with his squirrel buddy. But if you look closely, you can see that he's feeding these acorns as he plants them his blood from his hand. Like he's doing some freaky Audrey 2 kind of shit over here. But it's sort of like I'm giving my essence to that which I am growing. And we see this coming in at a low vibration. But instead of like wholly negative cards that were wading through all of this intense emotional upheaval, we're trying very hard to move into growing and nurturing this new manifestation. And we see that there's just a little bit of fear left over, a little bit of, you know, it's kind of like I've got my mind on my money and my money on my mind instead of just focusing on what you're doing right now. Like I'm still caught up in these sort of anxieties, even though I've done enough work to be able to start manifesting this new reality for myself. September. September. Alright, so we have the Queen of Air, and she is the water character in air. We have Virgo and Libra energy. I think Libra's ruled by Venus, isn't she? Yes. So we have this idea in the background of bridging up from the maiden to the mother energy, right? I'm having some kind of maturity. Well, let's see what we've got in the cards for September. Okay. We have Queen of Pentacles inverted. Okay. Queen of Pentacles inverted, you would think would be the Queen of Air. Oh, it's like her feet are sticking up in the air, like doing rolls in the airplane is making me sick to my stomach. She's also a 13. And we have the Wheel of Fortune inverted also. Sagittarius energy. It's Queen of Pentacles. Sagittarius and Capricorn, and then Wheel of Fortune is also Sagittarius, isn't it? Oh, it's Jupiter, fire energy. Okay. So we're looking at a Jupiter retrograde. And the hell rules Sagittarius? Why can't I brain? Oh, it is Jupiter. Okay. So both sides Jupiter retrograde. Jesus Christ. Of Latter-day Saints. Okay. So for whatever reason, we have Jupiter retrograde energy. I haven't looked at stuff, so I don't know when Jupiter is retrograde in 2024 yet, but this is the energy. And Jupiter retrograde possibly in Capricorn, but we're not necessarily going there. It's giving me Aerosmith falling in love is hard on the knees. It's something like I'm out of luck. I have been hit by Something like I've been hit by a fuck and I'm out of luck. Whatever. I can't remember it exactly, but those are the lyrics. Don't give me no lip, I've got enough of my own. Okay. 10 and 13. So 1, that goes to 4, that breaks down to 5, which would be a shift or a pivot. I'm all out of luck and I'm so lost without you. I feel like there's more here, but I'm just going to turn over the middle to see what's happening. The Aeon. This is the Judgment card in this deck. But we have this sort of Horus as a child energy. So we're definitely dealing with inner child. And it's sort of like, we have the goddess Nut here, which is the mother, sky mother goddess. Where we get the word night from. And in some ways it's giving me a dark night of the soul. But I think what this is really doing is saying the cycle of feeling left out and unlucky is coming to a close. And why I'm saying that is because this is upright. Even though this... And again, these are sort of indicating Jupiter retrograde. And in some ways it's sort of like, well, if Jupiter is upright and your luck sucks, then maybe when it's retrograde your luck will get better. And that's kind of a shitty way to put that, but it's closing the door. It's sort of like I protect myself, my inner child who is easily wounded, by maturing in my sort of waking ego. Like in my adult self, I have matured in a way that I'm able to protect my inner child from feeling like I'm trapped in this sort of karmic wheel where my luck is just bad all the time because maybe there's something wrong with me. Like nobody wants to play with me, not even the universe. But here we're saying, no, you're leveling up. You're in a place where you can go back into your traumas and be there for your inner child in order to sort of finish healing this sort of left out of the party energy. And this is coming off the heels of sort of trying to grow into this new manifestational phase in your life. And we see again, like I said, I'm sort of closing the books on this whole thing. Like I'm getting ready to graduate from this particular lesson. All right, so let's get 3 more months here. All right, so we have October. Come on. October, we have the King of Water, who is the air character in water. And we have Libra and Scorpio energy. Nope. Okay, so there's the Fool card with the Sarah character from the movie I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, because the Fool was in the 2-0 in the year. And then we have the 9 of Pots. This is supposed to be like happy, like, oh, I got all the food now. This is pretty kick-ass. Like I feel like I'm feeling content. That's what 9 of Cups typically is. The Fool inverted is, it's giving me like I fell. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Hit my head. So we have air and Uranus energy. So it could be Uranus retrograde, which may or may not be happening in October. And the Nine of Cups is Jupiter and Pisces. Interesting. Okay. So let's see what it says in this little book here for the Fool inverted. Page 12. Okay. Alright, so we have our Fool, and she's inverted. The Fool represents someone about to take their first steps on a life-changing adventure. Sarah, like the Fool, is trusting and a little naive as she starts out on her quest through the Goblin King's labyrinth to save her baby brother, Toby. So reversed. Sarah's frustrated while babysitting her baby brother and inadvertently asks the goblins to take him away. Little does she know, her momentary selfishness has consequences. The listening goblins take her words seriously and whisk Toby away to the Goblin Kingdom. The Fool reversed advises you to avoid reckless behavior and think through your words and actions carefully. Impulsively saying and doing things you don't really mean will only create a myriad of unforeseen problems for you. Okay? So, bitches be trippin', basically. So let's go back to this Nine of Pots and see what it says here. Sorry, I'm tired. Your dreams are coming true. Nine of Pots symbolizes good luck and success and reveals that things are finally falling into place. Appreciate this time and enjoy all the magic in your life. Alright, so you're just kind of afraid that you're going to screw it up, basically. Like, things are starting to look good. When's the other foot going to drop? Like, I hope I don't open my mouth and say something I regret. Oh, Jesus. You know, like, I'm afraid it's going to be taken away from me because I've had stuff taken away from me before. Right? It's like, I'm not just shy, I'm gun shy. I'm like 8 times bitten, like 47 times shy. Let's see what the resolution is here. Alright. This is kind of... So we have Union. 13, but it's inverted. This could be like your shadow and your light side coming together. It could be you and a person of interest, romantic partner, whatever. You with your destiny, your paycheck with your bank account, that kind of thing. And it's sort of giving me like it's a warning. It's like I'm afraid to completely transform into my unified self because I'm still separating mistakes I made from who I'm trying to be. You know, like, oh, someone's gonna search my emotional history on like some kind of, you know, emotional Google and tell me I'm a piece of shit and take all my pots away. And it's sort of delaying this unity of self, right? It's like I accept that I have done this in the past and that it is a part of my shadow. And here it's like I'm still trying to avoid accepting that that is my shadow, even though I've done all this emotional work. You know, it's like I'm still trying to put the sand under the carpet and pretend that the floor isn't dirty. You know, and still, instead of just accepting that sand exists. Hopefully that made sense. it's not, it's like I'm not necessarily afraid to be, well, it sort of is. It's like if you don't integrate and you're still sort of suppressing, then it might come out this sort of like, it's kind of like Tourette's, and I don't want to like speak out of class here, but because I don't really know that much about it, but it's sort of like an uncontrollable outburst, and from here it comes from suppression. You know, instead of, well, I should say instead of like Tourette's, it's more like if you're having an argument, someone's trying to goad you, and you're being all peaceful and magnanimous and shit, and they are like trying to start a fight with you. They're trying to pick a fight, and they just keep needling you and needling you until you can't take anymore, and then you're screaming at them, and then they're like, oh my god, you're psycho, what the hell is wrong with you, you piece of shit. You know, so it's sort of like I'm afraid to unleash the dragon without sort of accepting that you are the dragon. And it's like if you don't sort of become one with the beast, then it's something that can sort of explode or get loose like more with a trigger. It's sort of like if you don't work with your dog to sort of reassure them that you're the alpha, and they're scared of strange people or strange other pets, they might attack some other pet because they're trying to protect you because they're afraid of it. And somebody's going to be like, your dog is out of control, you got to put it down. But you don't have to put down your shadow element. You just need to sort of parent it more, like we see with this card. So that's sort of the issue that's happening here in October. It's I'm separating out again, because now that I'm in the world more, I don't want to repeat the lesson, even though I was just graduating. You know, like I don't want to relapse. All right, let's look at November. So November, we have the Knight of Fire. Is the fire character in fire, and we have Scorpio and Sagittarius. So we have extra spicy. Okay. All right, so we have the Five of Swords inverted, which is kind of an inverted swords that we'd want to see, because this is sort of we're sort of ending mind games. Right? I no longer have to have the last word, and I'm not engaging in mind games and you know, head games and stupid little energy battles. And the Nine of Rods. Right? It's like I've been here for a long ass time. I really want to get through this. I've been stationed in this place of trying to work on my shit forever and ever and ever. And for the love of Christ, can I please be done? And of course 9 is almost at completion, because we would get to 10. Alright? So I've been working on this for a long time, and I'm finally getting to a place where I'm sort of figuring out how to overcome mind games, even if they were my own. Right? Because, Lord, we could set ourselves some own traps. And now we have the Nine of Wands inverted. The same exact card, Strength inverted. That's weird. A low vibration of strength. Why is the resolution? Oh, okay. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable where you can open up to the idea that I did engage in games, whether I started it or not. You know, and I don't have to like be on constant guard with myself, you know, with that, with October's thing of like, I'm afraid I'm gonna open my mouth and, you know, have to spend another year making up for being a dumbass. Being like, yes, I'll buy those, I'll sign up for those, that solar program, and then like, oh crap, I lost my house. Or like, yes, I will go out with you, and then like, oh my god, you ruined my life and you stole my shoes. You know, so, or it's like, oh my god, what the hell is wrong with you? And then you find out that like, oh, I didn't know that you have a real problem, and now I'm gonna go eat my hat. So it's like, you don't have to constantly be on guard if you stay in this place of vulnerability where it's not like, oh, I'm a victim, I'm vulnerable. It's like everyone has a Tootsie Roll center of their Tootsie Pop. It's not just like, you know, a hard shell exterior. It's like there's something in there that wants to be, you know, I want someone to reach me on my insides. I want to be able to connect with people so that I can be seen and heard and felt and all that. So that's where this inverted strength comes in, mirroring this card. It's like, it's sort of like I'm letting down my guard, but I'm doing it in a way where I'm being more true to myself instead of allowing myself to be eaten away at, which is where we started the year. All right, let's see what December has in store for 2024. Accidental rhyming. December. I guess that's sort of in focus there. Alright, so we have the Queen of Earth with water character in Earth, Sagittarius, and Capricorn energy. We have the Ace of Junk, the Ace of Pentacles. This is sort of like the ultimate manifestation card. With the Empress, that hidden Empress that was suggested. This is kind of awesome. Let's see what the middle is right away. The Two of Wands. Okay. It's so weird that we have such high energy side cards, and then the middle one is just kind of like, not like, whoo, but like a little tiny flame. But the Two of Wands is making a choice. It's like a low vibration of the Lovers card, which is what we find as part of 2024, right? That 24 breaks down to the Lovers, and then we have the low vibration of that. The Empress and the Ace of Junk, 1 and 3, that's 4, that's the 4, so 2, 4. It's sort of like I'm finally deciding to come into my own in terms of abundance and manifestation. I've done a lot of emotional work, and I've been picking away at trying to bring myself more into some kind of reality. And here we see like sort of forgiving myself and not being afraid to integrate myself, and still being sort of vulnerable in that, you know, imperfection of meat space identity. That's when I'm able to be strong in my manifestation and basically make better choices. When I'm not afraid to say something, then I'm more connected with what my truth is, and I can stay focused on my connection to the universe and stay in my truth. And when I stay in my truth, then I don't have to worry about sort of sounding off in some way. All right, so we see this as this personal journey of sort of being one with yourself, protecting the inner child, gaining your own strength in terms of manifestation, and saying that, like, whatever emotional wounding I had isn't going to determine my worthiness of abundance in the material world. And that could be money, it could be relationship, it could be dream job, whether you're making a ton of money or not. It could be have a kid, or I have my dog that I've always wanted. It's something that gives you contentment in the material world where you felt like you weren't allowed to have it before. What makes you happy, what enables you to move through the physical world in a way that feels like you have sort of an embarrassment of riches. And you don't have to be embarrassed about it, but compared to what you thought you were allowed to have, it might seem like the most. So we're going to leave it there. If you want more, you can get a personal reading. Email me, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com, and take it easy, and we'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with CATtheMinion energy work. Check out my complete suite of goods and services conveniently from my Linktree. linktr.ee/CATtheMinion. Color your way into some relaxation with my coloring books Energy Forms and Draco Forms on Amazon. Get groovy with fashion and home accessories from my Cafe Press or Redbubble shops. Decorate your environment with original art and divination tools from my Etsy shop.